I'm in Delhi, the heart of India and a city that pulsates with life and history. As one of the largest urban agglomerations in the world, with over 28 million residents, Delhi is a place where the past and present collide in fascinating ways. On one hand, there's Old Delhi, with its winding streets, ancient monuments, and a history stretching back over 2 millennia. On the other hand, there's New Delhi, a relatively young addition built just a century ago with wide boulevards, colonial-era architecture, and modern amenities. Despite their differences, both Old and New Delhi are two sides of the same coin, each offering a unique window into the soul of this vibrant metropolis. Today, I'm diving into both worlds to see how they contrast, complement, and come together to shape the Delhi we know today. I'm starting my adventure today in Old Delhi, not far from the Delhi Junction train station, and it's here that the city's rich history comes alive in every corner, from the bustling markets to the centuries-old buildings and forts. Well, we're currently in Old Delhi. It's actually quite nice. Where I am right now is kind of almost pedestrianised. Thousands, if not millions, of people just walking around here. There's a few vehicles, a few tuk-tuks beeping, but by and large it's just people walking. There's lots to see and do. So let's go see what we find in Old Delhi. Heading down this street is just the start of the maze that is Old Delhi. Here you'll find bustling markets, tempting street food, and historic landmarks tucked into every corner. The vibrant energy of the city draws you in with every step. Now, most people know that New Delhi is the capital city of India, but Old Delhi was not the old capital. The old capital was Kolkata. But in the early 20th century, King of England, King George V, said he wanted India to have a new capital, and that led to the creation of New Delhi. Old Delhi is a very old city. It's been around for centuries and centuries and centuries. So as you might expect from old cities, there's lots of these tight, narrow, winding streets, crowded full of shops everywhere. There's lots of clothes on sale, lots of food, as you can see there. Lots of jewelry shops as well. Seem to be very popular here. This is Chandni Chowk. Really beautiful road. And I'm heading towards the Red Fort at the end of it, which I can see in the distance. It looks pretty spectacular. But I have to say, so far from what I've seen of Delhi, I think this is my favorite kind of location. It's a really big, spacious area. So much space to just be able to walk around freely. I can show you. And to have this much space in India is a rarity. It's quite nice. There's a lot of muscle supplement stores here in India, at least in this area. Just shop after shop of them. Also on this street were temples, Hindu, Sikh, and even Baptist, whilst the end of the road led to the Red Fort, which historically served as the main residence of the Mughal emperors. I, however, was going to check out the temple on the other side of the street, though I did have to pass some interesting advertising on the way in. This is the Sri Dihambar Jain Atishay Kshetra Lal Mandir, the oldest and most famous temple of Jainism, one of the oldest religions still practiced today. There are 4 to 5 million people who still practice Jainism, almost all residing in India, and this is their most sacred temple. Soon, it was time to head outside again.
Right, as you can see, we've hopped in a little rickshaw now. So now we've got a nice little breeze coming in. But we're going to go see what other sights we can see in Old Delhi now, as my very nice driver cycles down Chandni Chowk.
His name? Gurchakta.
Is what?
Gurchakta.
Guchakta?
मेरा नाम जानता है प्रदीप.
Nice hair.
Thank you.
Where are you from?
I'm from England.
Welcome to India.
Thank you.
Jain temple.
No, no.
What
Jain
is it?
Temple, no Jain temple. This is Sikh temple. This golden like this Sikh temple. See?
Yeah.
Sikh temple.
Sikh temple.
Yes.
Despite being slightly confused by the mix of rickshaw guides, I then stopped off at a spice market for an explosion to the senses, where the vibrant colours and intense aromas of fresh spices instantly captivated me. However, more than the spices, it was a mango lassi that ended up being the highlight of this area for me.
A mango lassi. It's okay? Thank you. I got my mango lassi. Might be the greatest drink ever invented. Honestly, so good. Some guy just tried to steal me as a customer.
अरे बाबू अभी आ रहा हूँ.
I'm not sure if I quite understand Indian banter. By the way, as a takeaway cup, it doesn't get better than that. Just a beautiful clay pot.
The tour guide continued, as informative as ever.
Banana.
Banana.
But don't ask me what this is about, because I just don't know. Soon another rider came along, but whether it was to offer help or cause a commotion, I was never quite sure.
He's exuberant.
Oh, yeah.
Huh?
I'm Banaras.
Yeah, banana.
Indian. Indian people Gadmara. Not.
Huh?
Is it you, Gandhar?
I need translations.
Chandni Chowk.
I don't understand. Oh yeah, this is some lady gave me this.
I my ticket office. अबे चुप रहा बे.
Huh?
I my ticket office.
At the end of my ride, I hopped into the subway to leave Old Delhi behind and end up in the new part of the city.
So now we're in New Delhi. This part of the city was designed by a couple of English guys, because of course it was, at the behest of King George V, also known as Queen Lizzie's granddad. She called him Grandpa England. But it's interesting to note the differences, you can see them immediately. So just walk past a row of quite fancy upmarket shops. The streets in general are wider here, and to be honest, it's quite a lot cleaner. But I think some people would say this is maybe too sanitized, and I can definitely see why some people would prefer Old Delhi and some people would prefer New Delhi.
This is the Khan Market in New Delhi, a fashionable area full of boutique stores and expensive restaurants. There's an immediate change in vibe walking around here, and whilst I'm still technically in the same city, it feels worlds apart. Still, it was time for some food. Last week I went local for a delicious curry.
This is so good.
But this time I was going to a rather upscale restaurant, the Punjab Grill. After piling the food onto my plate, I got stuck into my butter chicken curry, and it was delicious.
As you can tell by the decor behind me, this is a very nice restaurant here in New Delhi. Now, I didn't film it, but I did get some food in Old Town, and it was nice. The street food in India is infamous, really. But sometimes you just want to come to a nice restaurant as well and eat the great food here. It looks absolutely amazing, so I can't wait to get stuck into this food. Absolutely delicious.
New Delhi is different to Old Delhi. Though it lacks the hustle and bustle of the old town, it's a far greener place, and roads are wider to accommodate the nicer cars, though sometimes a little bit too wide in my opinion.
So behind me you might be able to see this India Gate, one of the most famous landmarks in this city. And now I'm walking along maybe the most famous park in the city, and it's essentially a huge park, goes for kilometers and kilometers, and there's a road straight down the middle which leads to the presidential palace. So way off in the distance is actually where Modi currently lives. But once again you can see in New Delhi how it compares to Old Delhi, and the amount of space that just exists here is obviously quite nice. And I'm here on a Friday evening, and there's a lot of people out and about, families, and just enjoying the evening.
I'd enjoyed New Delhi, though it had felt a little harder to see than Old Delhi as a visitor. It's most definitely an area of the city where you have to rely on having a vehicle to get around. But whether old or new, Delhi is a fascinating city with an amazing history and hopefully an amazing future. From the busy streets of Delhi to rural India, my next video sees me visit a tiny village of fewer than 100 locals, so make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss it, and check out the other videos on the channel now.